Well, we've just witnessed one of the greatest boxing demonstrations at this level of the game. Hi everybody, this is a quick review of one of the most anticipated showdown in boxing between Errol SPENCE Jr. and Terence CRAWFORD. I'm gonna skip the context of this fight. You guys can go check out my last video about it. We're just gonna jump straight into the bout. And the storyline of this fight is CRAWFORD only lost the first round. Spence came in the more active of the two in the first round. Then in the second round came what I didn't expect, or at least not this early, CRAWFORD putting Spence on the seat of his pants. And it was pretty much downhill from that point on for Spence. Matter of fact, even a doctor stepped in at the beginning of round 5 to check on his ass. And you just knew it was only a matter of time by then. CRAWFORD was in total control and kept on pounding Spence for 8 rounds straight. Dropped him 2 more times in the 7th until finally in the 9th, the referee stepped in and saved a battered Spence from further punishment. Now I'm not surprised by the winner of this fight. If you've watched my last video, I had predicted CRAWFORD would win. I knew that he was technically superior to Spence. But man, I didn't expect him to beat him up that easily. I mean, I'm almost willing to bet CRAWFORD had more difficult sparring sessions in the gym than that. He was perfect from almost start to finish. He just exposed Spence's raw and rugged boxing skills, as he was sometimes off balance, not gauging the distance well, or timing his punches right. I really thought that his physical strength and punch output would bring some back and forth action during the fight, or at least affect CRAWFORD somewhat, rather than one of the most one-sided championship bouts we've seen. Especially when we have Inoue's performance a week before, there was virtually no mistake. He threw those punches with bad intentions, and they hit home almost every fucking time. The face of Spence tells the story of what happened. I mean, look at CRAWFORD's. It's like they were in 2 different fights. And credit to Spence for being physically prepared and try to stay there. Otherwise, it would have ended much sooner. Now, with a victory like this, CRAWFORD enters the history books as the first man in the 4 belts era to ever win an undisputed title in 2 different weight classes. This is one of the greatest world title performances I've ever seen. 2 undefeated champions, the 2 best in their weight class, all the belts on the line, in a bout that has been dreamed, hyped, and anticipated for 5 years, and you pull a masterclass like that? Come on. I know some of you might think he was overrated after this, but this is Errol SPENCE Jr. in front of him, not some random pushover that he just takes his time with and dispatches in 9 rounds. I also liked how CRAWFORD came to Spence at the end of the fight, showing sportsmanship and appreciating him. That was a class act. Now it raises the question of where CRAWFORD ranks among the all-time greats. And I'm not willing to answer that here in this video. It will take way too much time. As for Spence, he talked about a rematch with CRAWFORD, but I think he was still on Queer Street when he said that. There is no way a rematch could be legitimate after an exhibition like this. Rematches happen in 3 instances. 1 if it's a close fight, 2 if there's controversy, and 3 if it's an upset. Here CRAWFORD was the favorite against Spence, so I don't see these 2 fighting again. And I think Spence will move up to 154, rebuild himself, and try to move on from his defeat. Even though I think that loss is going to scar him for the rest of his career, if not his life. And I've got to say, never an internet meme has been this accurate. Anyway, that's it from me fellas. Let me know in the comment section what you thought of this fight, and I'll see you soon.